2.1 KFMA, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents. Make sure you mute your laptop, Herb Stratford. So you do got Herb here in studios. We get ready. All right. So we're back here live, and I got Herb in as he comes in every Friday. And before we talk about what's coming to theaters here this weekend and what's coming to your streaming services, which we're going to do in a 9 o'clock hour, I was watching Django Unchained last night because it was a good rewatch. I love watching any Tarantino film again. So I was watching that and thoroughly enjoying it. It's one of my favorites, and it led me to this question. What is the best Quentin Tarantino film of all time? Now, obviously, like Todd has been proclaiming,
it's Pulp Fiction.
Right. People will say that, but I disagree. As much as Pulp Fiction is a classic and obviously, cemented his legacy, I don't think it's the best of all time. Herb, now obviously you love Quentin Tarantino. Sure. In fact, actually leading up to this conversation, you name dropped him about 4 times about projects and things that you've done with Quentin Tarantino.
It's true.
Would you agree that Pulp Fiction is the greatest Tarantino flick of all time?
I would. I'm going to have to say I think it is because from start to finish, I mean, there's parts of Reservoir Dogs that I love because it was like a fresh face and it was a new thing and it was like a different way of looking at stuff. And there's parts of Kill Bill, part 1, that I absolutely love. And even a little bit of part 2, there's parts of it I like. But I feel like the pinnacle, and that's no shade to Tarantino, because I think Django is great, but Django in a way starts to veer into like satire, like that whole scene in the hallway when he's bleeding out and it's like so much blood. I'm just like, okay,
you get it. Right. Tarantino, yeah. We got it.
You had to go over the top of that.
Yeah,
but I thoroughly enjoyed that. I enjoyed the comedy aspect of Django Unchained, even though the subject matter super sensitive, right? And it's a story of an uprising of a slave and gaining his freedom and it's a love story. But there are several laugh out loud, rewatchable laugh out loud moments in that film that could compare to Wedding Crashers or Superbad or any great comedy out there.
No, it's true. And I think, the way he writes characters, like, I mean, if I never see, what's his name? Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio ever again, it's like, I will always remember his character in Django. I mean, it's just, you know what I mean? It's so over the top. It's so ridiculous. And of course, I mean, I love when we first got introduced to, Colonel Landa in Inglourious Bastards. What's his name? I'm blanking on it right now.
Yeah, no, Christoph
Waltz. Like that whole scene in the cabin when he's hot, when he knows the Jews are under the floor. Oh my God. I mean, it's some of the best written. I mean, I remember watching it the first time and I kind of looked at, I think I had my wife with me and I looked at it, I was like, holy crap, nobody writes like this guy. Nobody writes like Tarantino.
True. Right.
But I mean, honestly, Pulp Fiction, the way we split up the narrative and the way you were just yanked back and forth to different stories, rebringing out, you've got Bruce Willis, right? And you've got, I mean, for God's sake, you brought out John Travolta and you made him a heroin junkie. I mean, come on.
Every character in Pulp Fiction is pure gold.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I mean, we Googled this, so we're going to go through some of the results of what the internet says is the best Quentin Tarantino film, and then we'll talk about which one's the worst after this. It's Rock on 2.1 KFMA, Beef Vegan Presents. All right, so now, as we are clear, we're still live on the stream because I do want to continue this, and every Christoph Waltz introduction into a Tarantino film is classic. It's instant classic. Just the way that he is introduced into the film, it's just memorable moments, and like he did it with Django. So which film then, since you're putting Pulp Fiction as the cream of the crop, which is probably undeniable, which one do you think is the least best, I guess, because there's no worse Tarantino film. They're all great films. And I'm not talking about the film they did with Robert Rodriguez. I mean, we're not counting that. Okay.
So Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
No. I mean, he did this. It was a drive-in movie type deal.
Oh, the Death Proof and
the double feature. We're not talking about that. We're talking standalone Quentin Tarantino films. Which one is not the best?
I'm gonna go with Jackie Brown for me.
Oh, that's a really good choice there, Jackie Brown. Would you say the same?
Yeah, because that's easily the most forgotten Tarantino movie. It's barely a blip on his radar.
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a good service to that story and to bring, like, in a way that the Shaft remakes and nothing worked, right? You know what I mean? It just, despite the talent, it didn't work.
It didn't have any of the same flavor, and I think that's a matter of the era that we live in.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, and it may be more greatly appreciated going forward, as people look back 20 years from now and they're like, here's his 10 movies and whatever. This is underappreciated. Pam Grier, fabulous, right? But just sort of like, I mean, the bar is so high. I mean, I wouldn't even, I mean, and honestly, Once Upon a Time in America or in Hollywood,
yes,
I feel like the bar was high. I mean, I think it was great, right? I mean,
it's a great character
it.
piece, but as a movie itself, it was kind of meandering and slow.
And I mean, and I thought, he got a little bit too far down into the Rick Dalton thing, and then the whole controversy about Bruce Lee and that whole thing. And I felt like, to me, and maybe I'm just being overly sensitive, but to me, it felt like to even bring up the Manson stuff, it's just such a ticking time bomb. You know what I mean? It's like, how do you, and then to sort of make it funny. I mean, yes, it's sweet that Sharon Tate lived, but I mean, the whole flamethrower in the pool. And I was just like, I just don't know if Tarantino's brand of over the top violence is best served as it relates to a real life story that is really messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that is, and I read Helter Skelter when I was a young kid, and I mean, it's a messed up story. I don't even know why you would go near it with a 20-foot pole.
That's Tarantino for you. I don't think he's afraid of anything.
Yeah, true. True. But still, I feel like that was still better than Jackie Brown. I just feel like Jackie Brown. And maybe it doesn't resonate for me because I'm a big goofy white guy. I mean, maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
Possibly.
I love those characters. What's his name? Robert, the guy that just died.
I was going to say, Robert Blake.
Yeah.
No, Robert Blake.
Don't look for me for names. I'm terrible with it.
Yeah, he was in Breaking Bad. But I was going to say Stoner De Niro was awesome to see. A stoner Robert De Niro. Fantastic. But as far as the ranking, according to a holy grail site for you, Herb Stratford, is Rotten Tomatoes. Jackie Brown is not the lowest rated Quentin Tarantino film.
Not by a long shot, actually.
Yeah. In fact, actually, The Hateful Eight is considered to be the worst Quentin Tarantino film.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all.
I love The Hateful Eight.
It was a great movie.
I do too. I'm a sucker for Westerns. I thought the twist was fabulous.
Well, yeah, you were a young man when that time period was going on.
Here we go. Ageism at work.
Tell us what it was really like. What did Tarantino get right in this film?
Yeah, when Billy the Kid was running the streets, Herb was the old man. I agree with you on The Hateful Eight. That was severely underrated, and the extended version on Netflix is pretty fun too.
It is
to watch those kind of 4 1-hour episodes. And then ranking this, so that was number 9. Was Hateful Eight. Kill Bill Volume 2, number 8. Kill Bill Volume 1, number 7.
You could put some movies in between the two of those. I don't like treating those two as the same movies because they are not. They are not equal, and anybody that tries to say so is lying to you.
Yeah, agreed.
I know. Well, Kill Bill Volume 2 was 84%. Kill Bill Volume 1 was 85%.
Oh, yeah.
So it got 1% higher.
That's ridiculous.
At 85%, tying number 7, but technically number 6, it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
I did enjoy the acting performances from Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt in this, and I think that's what kind of carried it.
That's the only thing that the movie had. Yeah. That was the movie.
Yeah. The rest of the acting was sort of cameos. You know what I mean? If you think about it,
cameos and scenes and moments and bits, and that's it.
Yeah,
I can't name another actor that was in that movie.
Pacino's in it for like 2 minutes.
Exactly.
You know what
Came in, he did his lines, he got his check, and he got out. I don't blame the guy.
It was a one-day shoot for him, for sure, just to say that he was in a Tarantino film.
Yeah.
So it was good. Coming in at number 5, Jackie Brown, 87%. And that's tied with Django Unchained at number 4.
Oh, that's a travesty.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that might just be a matter of the markets, of like, we weren't the target audience, but the target audience happens to be more vocal.
Besides Roots, is there a greater movie about a slave story than Django Unchained?
That's a homework project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost don't want to touch that question. Without like knowing.
Yeah. As a white guy, I'm not sure we should speak.
All right. That. Well, we won't talk about slaves. Let's talk about Nazis. Coming in at number 3, Inglourious Bastards.
Killing Nazis is always good.
Yep, it is. It never goes out of style.
Yeah. Brad Pitt was amazing in that as well. and that was the introduction of Christoph Waltz into the Tarantino universe, if you will, as he loves to reuse actors. So yeah, that debut was fantastic. And then, here's a fun fact about Inglourious Bastards that you might not know. You know the Bear Jew?
Yes.
Who's played by Eli Roth?
Yep.
Originally, that role was offered to Adam Sandler.
Oh my God.
100%. And imagine.
I could see it, actually.
Yes.
I could see it.
Angry, younger Adam Sandler.
As long as he doesn't get out the guitar and try and sing a song.
But under the guise of Tarantino, I don't think he would go full Sandler on it. It would be a character piece for him, which he's done before.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely 100%.
Like Punch Drunk Love? He did.
It's the one time that he's actually acted where he's not being an ass.
This might have been.
It happened once.
It did.
Well, he's been trying to, win an Oscar forever. This could have been the role, but there were scheduling conflicts and he would have to work out.
And I will say Uncut Gems, he was really great in that. And I'm not a Sandler fan.
Hold the thought. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Let's just wrap it up this Quentin Tarantino debate that we have here on what the greatest Tarantino film is. Now, there is a tie for number one according to Rotten Tomatoes. So if you look at Rotten Tomatoes as the holy grail of knowing what's good and what's not, and I know Herb does.
No.
He would be correct in that Pulp Fiction is the greatest Tarantino flick ever made, but Reservoir Dogs tied Pulp Fiction on Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter at 92%. So, I mean, they're close. And as far as he thought the worst one was Jackie Brown, that actually came in at number, 5? So not the worst. According to Rotten Tomatoes, the worst Tarantino flick ever was The Hateful Eight, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I know, it's rough.
Not agreeing.
No. So that's our Tarantino debate. We're going to continue to talk movies. Coming up next, what's coming to the movie theaters and what you should see. That's on the way on Beef Vegan Presents. It's Rock 102.1. Oh, I got all this moisture in my mouth. Beef Vegan Presents. Don't go away.